Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, FunsizedStyle. My name is Michaela, and thanks for stopping by. So for today's video, I'm just going to be sitting here chatting with you guys about a certain topic, and sometimes if there's a question that I get asked about a lot, or a certain topic that I get asked about a lot, like in the comments or just on social media in general, I'll sit down and make a video about it and just kind of answer that question and just put it out there. So if there's a topic or like commonly asked question that you see on my channel a lot that you would like me to discuss, definitely comment it down below. Or if you have a question yourself that you'd like me to answer that's more in depth, like related to a certain topic, like disability related or anything like that, definitely comment that down below and I will consider it. So today's video is going to be quite interesting. I don't know if I ever really pictured myself doing this video. Not necessarily because I thought I would never make the video, but just simply because I never realized, especially at my age, that people would be so interested about. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about something that I, again, get asked all the time, constantly. So, and that question is, can I have children? Will I have children? Do I want children? Do I want kids? Do I want to start a family in the future? And that pretty much goes because of, it gets asked because of my disability and my size. So, kids is definitely something that I get asked about all the time. And yeah, I want to answer that for you today and give you my perspective and my answer on that question since it pertains to my life. And this is my answer based on where I'm at now. It's where I'm at now in life and like kind of where I see myself, and just answer your questions about, can I have kids? Do I want kids? Do I want to start a family? Like anything related to me possibly having children or starting a family will be discussed in this video. It's really weird for me to talk about this because I don't talk about it much, which you'll see why when I get into answering these questions. And I hope that this video answers these questions for you guys. From now on, if I get asked these questions about, do I want kids? Can I have children? Do I want to adopt? Do I want to have my own children? Like any family, like if I want to start a family one day, like any of these kinds of questions will be, if I see that, I will direct you guys to this video just because it is such a commonly asked question. I don't want to be incredibly repetitive. This is going to put it out there for you guys to know, and just letting you guys know about whether or not I want to start a family or whether or not I can. And so let's go ahead and get into this video. This is so weird for me to talk about. Wow. I don't know why, but alright. Let's get into this. Okay, so if you're new here, like I said, my name is Michaela. Hi, thanks for stopping by. I was born with a disability called osteogenesis imperfecta. There are many different types of osteogenesis imperfecta. I was born with the second most severe type, which is type 3. Osteogenesis imperfecta is a condition that causes the body not to produce enough effective collagen. So collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. It's kind of like the glue that holds everything together. Within the different types of osteogenesis imperfecta, everybody's affected differently. Not everybody with osteogenesis imperfecta is 2 feet 7 inches tall, which I'm sure you guys know because a lot of you have seen my channel. I've talked about it a lot, but that's just because of my type, and many people with type 3 are often under 3 feet tall, or like just at 3 feet. So, like I said, the height is varied by type, but type 3 we tend to be the shortest of the types of OI. Again, there are many different types of OI. There are constantly being new types discovered, but I was genetically tested as a child, and I do indeed have type 3, along with my mom and my twin brother. Anyways, so that is my disability, and if you want to learn more about osteogenesis imperfecta, I will link the video in the iCard. Like I said, it affects any organ or any parts of the body that can be affected by collagen is affected by OI. So it affects many different parts of my body. The most obvious is, of course, height. The most known effect is it causes our bones to be very fragile because, again, the lack of collagen is the glue. Collagen is the glue that holds everything together. So the lack of or not enough of effective collagen causes bones to be fragile. And so those are like the two most known effects. Again, I talk about the effects of the disability in that video that I made, so I'll link that in the iCard. So I wanted to give you guys a context of what my disability is if you're new here. The question that I'll be answering for you today is, do I want kids? Can I have kids? Do I want to start a family? That sort of thing. So, like I said, we'll go ahead and get into this. I will give you guys we'll kind of go from the beginning of where this answer starts. It's not a complicated answer. For you guys to understand where I'm coming from, it's kind of complicated. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. So as you guys know, I have a twin brother and just myself. And when my parents became pregnant, they had us, obviously, twins. And we are twins, if you didn't know that. My brother and I are twins. And we were born 32 weeks, and my mom also has type 3 OI, osteogenesis imperfecta, and it is literally a miracle that we are here. I'm so grateful that my parents chose to give us life and valued our life, and the fact that we're here is a miracle. That's literally the only way that I can describe it, because my mom is the only one known in the world at her height to have given birth to twins, and so that is pretty miraculous. Just literally the Lord's work, and I'm so grateful for the gift of life. I love life, and I literally don't know what else to say to that other than I just truly do love life. Like I said, my mom's the only one with her height, with osteogenesis imperfecta, to ever have given birth to twins. It is possible, and because my mom has OI and because I do as well, the question comes to me often that asking me if I want children as well. And the short answer to this is no. That is not a desire that I have. That desire could very well change in the future. Mind you guys, I'm only 20. So let me just preface this. And that's, I think, why I'm so surprised that I get asked this a lot, is because, I mean, a lot of 20-year-olds and even younger have children, get married, all of that, and that's great, but it's also very young to start a family and to have kids. So that's really surprising to me that I get asked this already. But so there's kind of a history, a super brief history on how I came into the world, and because people are so very curious about that. The other thing that people are curious about is just in general, can people with osteogenesis imperfecta have children? And the answer to that is yes, obviously. There are many women with osteogenesis imperfecta that have children, and that have children successfully. Like I said, my mom is the only one with type 3 that at her height that has ever given birth to twins. So there's that. But it can be done. Lots of women with OI have children, and like I said, there are so many different types of OI. For example, there's type 1, and type 1 is the least severe OI, and you may have met somebody or seen someone passing by with type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta, and you wouldn't even know it because they're pretty much of average height. So pregnancy would not be as challenging or as risky as for somebody with, say, type 3. I think people see me and they see my family and they think everybody with osteogenesis imperfecta is super small, and everybody with osteogenesis imperfecta is under 3 feet tall, and that is not the case. Like I said, there are many different types. If you have osteogenesis imperfecta and you want to have children, like the journey of pregnancy is very different and would be very different depending on what type you have. No, I should have wrote down kind of where I want to go with this video because there's just a lot to it. But there's kind of that and like the quick answer of like, in general, can women with osteogenesis imperfecta have children? Yes. There's not really any known issues of like not being able to have children, and if they do, that's like it's like another health effect not related to osteogenesis imperfecta. Not everything is linked to OI, if that makes sense. A lot of things are, like a lot of different adverse health effects or like conditions are really linked to OI, but not everything. So like the ability to have children is not necessarily one of them. I don't even know where I'm going with this video. I guess to kind of answer your question, so there's kind of like the overview, like, generality of like most women with osteogenesis imperfecta, can they have children? Can they have children and do they want children is two very different things. And everybody's reason is different. Everybody's journey is different. But before I go any further, I do want to say these two things. And that is, number one, women, not just with osteogenesis imperfecta, but with physical disabilities in general, when they become pregnant, one of the first things that they get offered many times is to terminate pregnancy because for some disabilities, such as osteogenesis imperfecta, there's a chance that the disability could be passed on to the child. And I want to preface this by saying, like, first of all, never end a pregnancy. First of all, life is valuable and every life has a purpose. You have a responsibility to care for this child, and if you're unable to care for this child, bring it into the world and let someone else experience joy with the gift and honor to care for your child. I'm just letting you know, like, this is a really harsh reality that like a lot of women with physical disabilities face, is doctors just see us as like health problems and not as women, and they think like, okay, you can just terminate the pregnancy if you don't want it. And, like, if you don't want the baby to have the condition that you have. And that was one of the first things that my parents were offered by one of the doctors that they had seen, and they said absolutely not. Like, these children are a gift, like, from God. Why would you ever think that their life isn't valuable? And like, my mom has osteogenesis imperfecta and she loves life as well. Like, and some people say like, how like, that's so selfish. Like, why would you want that for your children to have like disability? And like, this goes for like any disability that's like genetic. And the reality is, like, life is amazing. Like, nobody lives a perfect life, and eugenics in this country is so real, and it's still very real around the country. And when we start deciding who can have children, who can live and who cannot, like, that's based on disability, like, or any factor, like, that's eugenics. And I encourage you to research eugenics. It's very, very real in this country, and it's very, very real in the United States. Still very, very real today. And it's a very scary time. And eugenics is most known, this is like going way off topic for a second, but eugenics is most like known as like from Hitler times, and eugenics is still very real in this country today. And it's a ideology that hasn't gone away. It should be gone by now. It should be long gone by now, but it's very far from gone. That's what I first want to say, is life is valuable, and there's never, ever, ever, ever once a reason to end a pregnancy. Never an excuse, because as a society, we run from responsibility. That's how some people choose to run from their responsibility, but you can never really run for too long, because it's always within you. Like, your choice is always within you, and I don't know. That's just what I wanted to say first. Secondly, like, never make the decision to not have children because it could be passed on to your child. Like, everything happens for a reason, and like I said, like, life is so valuable at like every stage, and it's really sad, especially nowadays, to see like all that's happening in our society and to see how many people don't value life. And it's really interesting because the people that were given the gift of life are the people that are making the decision about somebody else's life. Anyways, I just wanted to say that first. Okay, so I don't even know like where I was going with that. So before I kind of go into my long answer, what I wanted to preface this by saying, and I love life, and women with disabilities can absolutely have children if they want to, and start a family if they want to. People look at women with disabilities and say, oh my goodness, like how can they care for a child? How can they have children? Like, oh my gosh. And like, I think for me, especially like when I get asked this online, I know it comes from a weird place from them. Like, some people are genuinely curious and like aren't weird about it. They just genuinely want to know. But like a lot of people would never admit this, but I'm gonna be the one to say it, and like I know it's true. But like a lot of people that ask this question, it comes from a really weird place. Like, they just want to know how on heaven's earth can like a woman who's like 2 feet some odd inches tall like bear a child. Like, how is that even possible? And like, why would she want that? And like they just cannot fathom like how that can be possible. So they just ask, like they want to know all the details, and like it comes from a really weird place because they act like we're these like separate creatures or like separate human beings from like regular societies. Oftentimes when I get asked the question, it's like I know it comes from a weird place. I never say that to like individual people, but I know it comes from a really weird place, if you know what I mean. Like, just a really weird. Like, they don't genuinely care about like they like genuinely like wouldn't necessarily care about like whether or not I have to become a mother. They just want to know like how on earth could I. That's like really interesting to me about how I get asked that, because I know, or like why I get asked that, because I know for some people it comes from like a really weird place. And I just also want to preface this by saying, like, some people, like, it's just a genuine question, like, do you want kids? Like, do you want to start a family? Not everybody that asks this, like, it comes from a weird place. Like, some people are, most people are just genuinely curious. So there's like my very long, not even intro, but just like, I guess, introduction of like the history of like how I came into this world, and like my view on like women with disabilities having children. And a lot of people have this idea that women with disabilities shouldn't have children so that there aren't as much disability in this world. That's just like awful to me, and I can't even fathom that. Into whether or not I want children, but can I have children? Let's just get into it. It's a long answer, but let's first start off, do I want children, or do I want to start a family? The question of do I want kids and can I have children is two very different questions. And so I first want to start off by answering, do I want kids? Because I think that this will give you guys an idea of kind of like my viewpoint on this. So I personally, at this point in my life, like 5 years down the line, like I do not see myself having children. I don't see myself having children naturally, and I don't see myself adopting children at this time. There's a lot that goes into deciding if you want children, especially when you have a disability. And everybody's, like I said, everybody's reasoning is different. For me, I just never, like, even as a child, I never played with dolls. I don't know, like I never had baby dolls. I never played with dolls. Like, the only doll toy I ever played with was Polly Pockets. Those were the real MVP. Never into that, even as a child. And so I think I just never had the desire to have children. I don't even think that young mindset had anything to do with my disability, because like I was young. I obviously didn't. I've never asked my mom, like, hey mom, like at like 5 years old, like, hey mom, can I have kids one day? Like, I just never asked my mom that. It's not that I never thought I could. Like, I was 5 years old. Like, I just never ask those kind of questions. So I just never had the desire. Like, a lot of women do desire to have children, and whether you have a disability or not, and like obviously like we need to repopulate the earth, and it's good to have kids. God puts them here on this earth for a reason, but I know that there are other women like me that do not desire to have kids. I love kids, don't get me wrong, but I don't want children of my own. It's just never a desire that I've had. I just, even as a kid, as I grown up, like, that desire just hasn't changed. Like I said, it's not that I don't love kids. I love kids, but as far as like having my own family, it's just something I never desired. And I think it's either you desire it or you don't. I don't think that there's like an in-between in that. However, like I mentioned in the beginning, my perspective could change, and my decision could change in the future. Like, I'm only 20, like I'm still in college, like there's so much I haven't experienced yet in this world. A lot of it's because of my disability, that I move a little slower at certain milestones in life. Like, I have yet to live on my own. Just those like smaller milestones that like most 20-year-olds have experienced, I haven't experienced yet. And I would want to do all of these things before I even think about like finding a man to spend the rest of my life with. Or that's just like my mindset. And if I did want kids, future, or kids or a child or however many, I would obviously be married first. I believe that you should get married before you have children. And I believe that you should not live together until after you get married. These are my personal beliefs. You can never make anybody believe in something that you do all the times, but this is just my belief. And like, you want to know, like, do I want kids? And this is like what all goes into, like, what would all go into me deciding if I want kids. Like these are like non-negotiable. I gotta be married first, and we can't live together until we're married. Like, those just non-negotiable. And so that kind of goes into, and also like, first of all, another question that I get asked, I'm not making a whole video on this because it's not a whole video worthy, but a lot of like people want to know, like, do I want to get married? And another desire that I just don't have, I don't know. You can obviously be like incredibly independent when you're married, just like when you're not married, but like marriage is like commitment, and you have to make sacrifices for each other. And like, I'm just like a very, I don't know, like I just can't picture myself, like, I don't know, I just like my ways, like things like a certain way. I like my own space. Like, I don't know, I just never had that desire to like get married either. You guys are thinking, wow, you're so boring. But like, everybody has a different path in life too, and everybody has like a different calling, and it like, I just don't see my calling as like being a wife or a mother. And I don't know, like, you guys are probably thinking, you are crazy, like, you don't want like any of this for yourself. But like I said, everybody just has a different calling, and God's plan could be totally different than what I have in mind. I really, really pray that these things are not part of this, just because what I see myself doing doesn't involve these things, but God has the bigger picture. But to answer your question, I don't really desire to get married either. If I did get married and did decide to have kids, this would be my answer. So this brings me to my next point of, can I have children? Okay, so this kind of brings me to my next point of like, can I physically have kids because of my disability? So, and this kind of still goes back to like, do I want kids? Obviously, like, my mom had kids, and like me, obviously, and my brother, and like many, many women with osteogenesis imperfecta have children. Again, everybody's reasoning is different, but for me personally, I mean, this one's awful to say, but like, I don't know. I want you guys to know that also, like, my answer to this question is not me like doubting the Lord's work or like doubting God's miracles. Like, obviously, I've lived them every day and I know that like he can do great things. I personally like don't want to experience like pregnancy or anything like that ever. I am much smaller than my mom even, and I have many other health issues that would really complicate having children. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done at all. I'm just saying I don't want to know. I don't want to experience it. That's just not something I want to put myself through. It's not something I want to put my body through. I have a ton of health problems on top of OI and on top of only being 2'7" tall. That would really complicate things. And again, I'm not saying it couldn't be done. I'm just saying I don't want to put myself through that. It's just not a desire that I have. So like, I just wouldn't want to put myself through that. Just like with my severe scoliosis, my size, like my lung problems, like the list goes on. And you're probably thinking like, oh, you're just thinking of ways that you can't or ways that it wouldn't be difficult. And like, obviously if I had that desire, like I would choose other routes or like, you know, like, I don't know. This video is so messed up. But like, it's just hard to articulate such like big decisions. Also like physically, there's like, obviously I wouldn't have children or like even adopt children until I was married. So like I would have help from my husband. This sounds so weird to say because I don't even want to get married. Okay. I would also want to be able to do all of the things by myself, completely independent without help or assistance from friends or family, because God forbid it's something like that. And so in that case, if my desire to like be a mom changed, then I would 110% choose adoption, and I wish so many other people would choose adoption as well. Like obviously the earth like needs to be repopulated. So many more people could adopt as well. There's just so many children that like need loving homes and that need real family, that need real love and real care, and that don't have a family. And so like adoption really interests me in that way, and I would probably adopt a like older child because they would be more physically independent, and like I wouldn't obviously be able to like lift them and things like that. That's like definitely like what I would choose, but this isn't anything that's like gonna happen. But I really do wish that like more people would adopt, and also like I don't have the desire to drive in the near future, and like obviously if I want to have kids and stuff, like I need to be able, or like even through adoption, like I need to be able to drive to like take care of them and stuff. But it's like such like a big, like most people's worst fear is like public speaking, spiders, like whatever. I'll never drive in my life. Like so many people want that for me, and like I get that like it would open up my independence, but like it's not even worth it for me. Like that's how much I don't want to do it. Just little things like that. Like I would want the child to have like the most opportunities. I don't know if I would be the one to like provide that, you know. Like I definitely could. Like when you want something bad enough, like you find a way to do it. And so I don't think like that's not necessarily my problem. My problem is just I don't have the desire. Well, it's not my problem. It's just my decision. And like I don't know. So this video ended up being shorter than I thought, but I really don't know what else to say other than like, yeah, so there's your answer. I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. I just really want to be completely independent and on my own. And because there's so much in life I want to accomplish, there's so much. I don't know. That's just my answer. I thought this video would be longer, but I really don't know what else to say. I don't even know. But there's your answer. I'm like, can I have kids? Do I want kids? Like, all of the things. But there is like your really long answers to those questions. If you guys have any other questions related to me, like, related to any of this video, definitely leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them. Please don't let my reasonings or my like perspective change your opinion. Whether or not you have a disability, like don't let my perspective change your opinion, like on whether you want children. This is just my decision, and so from now on, any questions that I get related to this, I'll be directing people to this video. I feel like there's so much that I left out, but like I could obviously do the basics, take care of my children, and like I could easily care for children. I just don't want to. And it's like simple as that. Like I just don't know what else to say. So there's your answer of do I want kids? Hope that answered your question. If not, leave your question in the comments below and I'll answer it. So thank you guys so much for watching and I'll catch you guys in my next video.